It's now 6 o'clock. The chair will call this March the 15th meeting to order 2022. The public have been duly notified, and I do confirm the quorum, which is missing one Mr. Davis.
He's on.
He's on. Okay, good. At this time, we're going to motion to go into executive session for student matters, personnel, and that's probably it.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we enter executive session for personnel matters and student matters.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Motion made by Ms. Harris, second by Reverend Jackson. Doing executive session. All in favor, show by raising the right hand. That would be Mr. Davis. We can't go into executive session. Thank you. We'll be out no longer than 6:30, probably earlier than that.
You good?
Well, I'm good. All right, so go ahead.
How do you all?
Wow. We got to hit the thing. Why you do that? They want a big thing, bro.
Listen. What?
Yeah, we
I can really tell you.
We had to, it wasn't 3 years ago. But I'm going,
When you're gonna do that, you can go. It's a place. One place is I'm not gonna change it because I tried to see.
yeah.
I'm gonna change it to see. You go.
Good, Jack. Please go. I'm gonna be obedient because you're obedient.
I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, we
I had that pass.
you go to lunch.
Sit down, you get a break. Never heard of chicken. Go during the week. No. This is over in Columbiana, next to Roadhouse. Right across the street, that Roadhouse. Go to Roadhouse. And then you go.
And this year, yeah.
I'm coming to you with that.
Main Street, so they share with that.
The flavor of November 2nd.
Yeah.
No, travel. I know. You know. So.
She do like this right here? She go back to
I told Carol, I said, I gotta start watching a little bit of football on Monday morning. Someone's talking, I'd be lost. I don't even hear that conversation.
I heard Boston, feisty with basketball. You come. You turn your ring off.
Whatever it is.
And what kind of good work, I say? Yeah.
I know, if Clemson came to South Carolina to play.
When?
Last year.
Last year? Yeah, Clemson came to Carolina.
Yeah, okay.
You remember?
So it was Clemson here.
Yes, ma'am.
And
So
they
they
wiped
gave
us
Clemson-
They
out.
were Clemson, they should go to Clemson next year. This year.
This year.
So we traveled, USC travels to Clemson.
This year.
This year.
I don't, I'm going to a meeting in a few minutes, I'm gonna tell them Ted said, Reverend.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, you're not flying,
You know, brother, come on, man.
you're not flying.
Now, if you pull up the schedule tell you too.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't know how to read it.
You know how to read it.
We got it up.
Let me see
We
it.
have it up.
You would want a football.
Usually the first one means that they come to the other team, right?
That's the old game.
Yeah, the 2021. Clemson,
But we want 2022.
You want 20, you want, that's
yeah,
that's November 27, 21, that ain't the thing. Clemson came to USC,
okay, then that's a.
then we go back, we go to them this week.
This year. We, you say we.
So this is right now, this is Clemson at USC.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You go to the game?
No, we that's the year I do one of my celebration, when they in Clemson, I get a better rate in the hotel. Clemson playing in the one.
Ain't nothing in that. You still with the Shriners? You still with the Shriners?
Yeah. Yeah, I am. Okay, tonight, go book it, that's why. I want to make sure we use double two at that Bush Road.
Okay,
They larger than the Marriott.
okay, you need something.
Yeah,
You got a party?
yeah, better everything. Yeah.
I know people will just be. Thanksgiving.
Now, if it were for COVID, it would be always in January.
That's it.
But when it started rising again, we put it off to the end of March.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna be all right by then.
Like Cindy had that.
I tell you what you get with rapper playing, I'll get no tickets.
Tom Brady.
So let's.
That boy comes from Oklahoma.
I knew he wouldn't, I knew he wasn't. He said there's not finished business. He just don't want to go out and lose them.
You living in the town today?
Yeah. I'm pulling up
You
here.
need to run for something.
Hmm?
You need to run for something.
I need to run for something? Like what?
I'm thinking out of.
And they play state.
And play state.
Right. Carolina go to Clemson. So they on November 26th.
Okay.
They just don't have the time.
Just,
That's probably a secretary.
I can go down there and negotiate with them.
Yes, sir.
Right, they'll give you.
Yeah, you have to have a rate. And what I do, so Mary, you always throw, Hilton, that'll fight over it a little bit. Belvedere been good to us. That's my first show. This is Fairfield alumni school, old school. We need to celebrate. I need to put that on the floor.
We've been winning, man. Y'all been winning now. Y'all can't get the back vote. They got to go this low, y'all still can.
Oh, yeah.
What, 40, that's good.
Raise the board.
I don't watch it big. I used to watch the NFL.
You don't go back and watch it on YouTube? You can watch it.
Oh, I'm watching. I am watching it.
Hey, man, like,
I should watch it. I
hey, man, like, what is the treat? I remember that. Yeah. Look at, you know, fuck your mama there.
I believe that. I know myself, I know how to
I was fighting for it.
What you say?
That's just a no. Oh, is it? I know, okay. I have to see it. Put it on the post. Like, that's what you grew up with.
I've been here since I was in elementary school. When I was in middle school, I remember in the seventh grade. But we really got close to each other. It used to changing clothes. Once she had I've been putting them on there in problems. I just we don't have it's did you go to school?
They say
Those who come up here. Y'all don't take you sit on the front row.
Okay.
Yes, that was a nice family. And ladies ain't got over with your wife. She jumped in there, bang, wide open.
You know what they did?
When they
You fall out.
that one cool.
They want to know what happened.
We visited your church, I had drinks. You know, I have your proof.
What happened? He said, hey, you might be able to read us all. I ain't got time for that. So he brought it back.
Oh, you see? You laugh. You scared this man. You like,
I
what?
can't go home with myself. That was myself. Like, I'm gonna come to work and all that.
I didn't know.
That's how I had to make the rest of the class meeting. And see, Mary's mother, Mary Paul, she married Bill.
Yeah, that's what I know.
His classmate, that's why we're talking like that. I ain't playing. Yeah. He's a basketball star. I told him all the time, "Yeah, you're too low." But I can play.
But these are made that way. You ever get a bad.
They don't treat me right. I treat us right, they don't treat us right. So, big time. Yeah. This baby, maybe for 5 or 6 years.
But then he cleaned it, so
Yeah.
I love that. Come on.
Just a little bit.
I get it every time I go.
We need to try to get better. So we got it. We should all, we should all.
You did all that.
It's politics, I have to tell you that.
Yeah.
They shop it at the grocery store.
You know, first you teach us.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it's
Yes, sir. And guess what, the house we built the heart. We were there. Yeah, they don't want it back. And they started. Shirley Green, so, Jacksonville had a high school, and Blair had a high school. We didn't have that. And we got pretty back. Now, no rich we had. Jacksonville had a thing called Camp Living. My father was there. When you come out the hospital, they had to really get that check. We had an house to great problems in just every time that place. And just what happened. What was like Wall Street? Just appreciate it.
Can you see me? It will be a hollow more.
No, you won't call it sad. You married though?
Yeah.
Never see you that quiet.
You know it? At this time, Chair will entertain a motion to exit executive session. No action were taken.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we exit executive session, no action taken.
Motion made by Ms. Harris, second by Ms. Green, to exit executive session. No action was taken. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. That would be 6-0. At this time, we're gonna have our welcome. Pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence. This time, I just wanted to welcome everyone. I look out there and I see some beautiful faces. So, you know, we thank y'all for supporting the school district. I tell you that if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be where we are and our students. So again, welcome and thank you for showing up for it's time for the pledge of allegiance and the moment of silence. The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moment of silence. Man. This time, we have the approval of the agenda as is.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented.
Sure, second. Motion made by Ms. Harris, second by Pastor Jackson, to amend the agenda as presented. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. That would be 6-0. Mr. Davis, are you there?
Yes,
7. Thank you. This time, Secretary, do we have any public comment? No public comment. Okay. Board recognition. Let me say this. On this evening, we have 2 distinguished board members. I mean, this is South Carolina School Board Association highest honor. It's 11-6. And this evening we have two of our board members that's going to be presented and represented in Myrtle Beach, and we're going to show how we do it in Hilton Head. Hilton Head. We're gonna show them how we do it in Fairfield County. At this time, we're gonna, for our level 6, the highest award, not award, but level that can be presented to our board member, Pastor Carl Jackson, Jr. Yes, the exits come to the front. Come on. Y'all clap your hands.
Looking at it, Don, you don't want to grab it? Turn right in, I'll take a picture of that now.
Come here.
Usually when you give a preacher the mic, you got a lot to say. But I'm almost sort of first person when it comes to recognizing me. I like to give all accolades to God, and it's not about me. And I appreciate everything that has been done. I appreciate receiving this award, and I thank you very much.
Our second presenter, hard worker. Highest award given to South Carolina School Board Associates, to Ms. Cynthia Harris. I don't know why I don't want to put that last on there. Harrison. Deacon, get me for that. Make sure you get that Harrison on there, the right deacon.
I am truly honored to get this award. It's truly a special occasion for me and Pastor Jackson down there, but I just want to say I thank my family, my dad, my second dad, my sister there, and Pastor Ted Belter for coming out to support me. Always, I appreciate y'all. All I had to do was give a call, and they was like, yeah, we'll be here. And some of the other ones called me and said they couldn't be here, which is understandable, but I appreciate all the support over the years. Thank you. And thank you for
Thank you. Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Yeah, so I thank you, Mr. Chair. Let me say, there's nothing a superintendent appreciates more than good board members. There's nothing that'll make your life more miserable than bad board members. And so I am more appreciative than anybody else in the room for people like Ms. Harrison and Pastor Jackson. People who understand what their role is as school board members, and more importantly, committed to doing things for the benefit of the young people that we serve. Now, it might surprise you that sometimes you have some people whose mission isn't necessarily in line with what it should be, which is to make decisions based on what is in the best interest of students. But I can tell you, after working with the two of them for the course of several years, that every decision that they make, whether you agree or disagree with it, is done with the benefits of the student that they have been charged with serving. You know, I remind you all the time that me and my wife love our children, but we don't always agree about every decision that we make. But we can agree we love them. We might disagree about whether we should go left or go right. The one thing that we don't disagree about is that we both love them. And I can tell you, even if you disagree with Ms. Harrison Pastor Jackson about a particular situation, I don't ever want you to lose sight of the fact that they're doing it for the best interest of the young people that they have been asked to represent. And so, on behalf of me and my wife and my kids, because of unhappy daddy, unhappy superintendent will make an unhappy daddy. Unhappy. So, thank y'all for being such good board members, so I can be nice and calm and cool and relaxed when I get home, and not be stressed. So, I'm happy about that. I thank Pastor Jackson and Ms. Harrison for being an outstanding board member that they are. And I'm not even gonna let them leave until I leave. So I'm gonna keep on to the board until I decide to retire. So if they try to go home, I'm gonna fight them at the door. So give it up, round of applause.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'd just like to take this opportunity to Ms. Harrison to kind of show me up a little bit. And I'm glad she did, because I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize all these folks sitting out there who came here on my behalf. That's my family. Y'all stand up.
That's awesome right there. Dr. Green.
Yeah, the other recognition that we had was the Beta Club students. We went down to Myrtle Beach for the Beta Club competition. And I think came back with 17 or 18 awards. Very excited about recognizing the outstanding work that the young people did. They were scheduled to be here tonight, but then I got a call today saying out of the 30+ board Beta Club members that participated, only 2 could be here tonight. Okay. And so initially he said that's a bad thing, but the good thing is all of them are involved in extracurricular activity. And so not only are these students doing a good job in the classroom, they're involved in baseball, soccer, track, boys tennis, softball. I mean, they are just active. And so when I said, well, we can only get 2 out of 30-something students, let's postpone that to another day when we can get better participation. But that's also a reflection that when students are engaged in the whole educational experience, they do better overall. So I always tell parents it's good to have their young people involved in extracurricular activities. So just imagine all those students, 30-some-odd students, only 2 of the 30-some-odd students don't have a previous commitment relative to some kind of activity going on after school. So we're disappointed they can't be here, but we're happy that they are actively involved in some other things, and we will get them when they have a little more free time. They can fit us into their business schedule. We will recognize the Beta Club at a later date.
Thank you, Dr. Green. This time we're going to board minutes from February 15th meeting and also our March 1st meeting. Good.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
make a motion to accept the superintendent recommendation to approve the minutes from the February 15th regular call board meeting and the March 1st, 22nd, 22 special call board meeting.
Motion made by Ms. Harris, second by Ms. Green, to accept the minutes, superintendent recommendation on February 15th and March 1st, 2022. All in favor, show by the sign of the raising of the right hand. Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Thank you. Superintendent. Update.
Okay. Chairman Miller, members of the board, a couple of items I would like to share with you today. First of all, I want to acknowledge the academic challenge team that will be traveling to Rock Hill this coming Friday to compete in the regional competition. I will be going up there as well to see these young people in action. If you've never been to an academic challenge meet, you gotta go when you realize how little you know. And so those young people are so smart. It always just breaks my heart when I get to see them in action, competing against other students from surrounding districts. So they'll be traveling to Rock Hill this coming Friday for the regional competition. Also, we're in the midst of spring sports season, as I said earlier. We have soccer going on. I attended a girls soccer match on last night at Richmond Northeast High School. Our young ladies played well, even though they were not victorious. They still represented the Griffins in fine fashion. Baseball is currently going on, track, girls softball, and boys tennis. And so spring sports season is extremely busy. And so if you get an opportunity, there's probably something going on every single day between all those sports. And I think you can always catch a competition at the high school. I think finally, we have been working towards this goal for the last several years. I'd like to thank the school district board of trustees for being patient with me, thinking outside the box, and really trying to launch this innovative approach to really attract teachers to our community. And so this whole teacher village idea is finally going to come to fruition. We're having the groundbreaking this coming Thursday at 1 p.m. And we think this is going to be a model for rural communities all throughout the state of South Carolina. So we'll have lots of media here, local media. I suspect there'll probably be even some national media. There'll be lots of local officials and some state officials for the groundbreaking of the first of its kind in the state of South Carolina. And quite honestly, in many regards, the first conversation really right here in Fairfield County. I told someone who asked me about it that we'll look back on this day and remember it as kind of priming the pump in Fairfield County. This is going to prime the pump for some economic activity that we really had not imagined. We've not had any significant residential development in this community for several years. And I think this is going to spur residential development in Fairfield County, which is going to change the economic landscape over many years. And so I'm excited about this, not only because it helps us to retain and attract teachers, but I'm excited about the economic impact that it can have on Fairfield County as a whole. I tell folks, businesses follow disposable dollars. So if you find a way to attract disposable dollars, businesses will follow. Basic economics. And so we are finding a way to attract disposable dollars. Any questions about the groundbreaking this coming Thursday at 1 o'clock?
Dr. Green, Mr. Chair, Dr. Green, I don't have a question about the groundbreaking. I'm excited about it though. I just wanted to give a shout out to the academic challenge team, because I remember when my girls was on the academic challenge team and I traveled with them, and yeah, they will make you think you don't know nothing. Listening to the young people, so I'm extremely proud of them. And I also found out that my great nephew plays baseball for Kenyon, and he was up here Monday, but I didn't get to go. And I think they play again on Thursday, so he played JV and varsity. So it's like, Auntie, you got to come see me play. So I'm gonna try to get to some of those games, because I don't know a lot about baseball, but I want to watch it. I do like soccer though, but I don't know a lot about baseball. But those kids are doing extremely well in all the sports, so I'm excited to know that so many are involved in the sports.
It's actually spring, people don't really think about it, but it's so difficult to feel all the spring sports teams that you have.
Yeah.
Because you got some kids who probably would play softball, and they also would play soccer, they also would track, and there's so many to choose from. And if I could wave a magic wand and do one thing, it would be to get more kids involved in extracurricular activities. It would be to get more kids involved in extracurricular activities. Because the research has shown you that kids have better discipline, they make better grades, they're just overall better students when they are involved in extracurricular activities. I'll tell you a funny story. When I was an administrator at Spring Valley High School, I had a parent that asked me, she said, Ms. Green, is there any way you can let my son play football all year round? I know football season lasts on you. Can you let him play football all year around? Because I'm gonna tell you, he's the best student he could be doing football season. He makes the best grades, he elevates, he gets in the least amount of trouble. Just being involved in that kind of organized sport really transforms him. And that's pretty consistent. I'll tell you that when kids are involved with extracurricular activity, they tend to do well. And even as a former basketball coach, you know, if any of my former players are watching, you know, they always knew when somebody acted up in class. You know what I mean? Because when we would get to practice, I tell them, put all the balls up. We don't need any balls for practice. And they go, oh my God, what happened? So messed up. We don't need any balls today. And when I put them on that line, Mr. Seaver, start running them suicides, I'd ask them, am I my brother's keeper? Say, yes, we are. I said, so if Jason acting up in class, you best to get Jason straight. I'm gonna run your liver loose when you get to practice. Okay. So you know, not only did they get some positive reinforcement from the coach, they got some positive reinforcement from their classmates because Jason, I'm gonna fight you if I gotta run them suicide. You best wake up and do what you have to do. But seriously, that kind of just organized structure works very well for kids who might lack some of that structure in their lives. And so I never say that we should find ways to keep kids out of organized sports, regardless of what their grades are. Quite honestly, we gotta find ways to keep them in something. Because when they aren't involved in something is when they tend to go astray. Okay, so I'm always very excited when I go out and see so many kids participating in sports. Next up, Ms. Brown, you can pull up the COVID-19 PowerPoint. Folks, we're doing very well relative to COVID-19. I watch the news every single day, see how the numbers are trending. Yesterday I saw that they are anticipating we might get a surge here with this new variant of Omicron, but right now we're looking pretty good. Remember, because our numbers across each individual school is below 10%, we no longer have to quarantine close contact. All right, and so you'll see zero quarantine and isolation means that there's a positive case. First slide is round. It's pretty easy to remember. We only had one positive student case last week. Only one positive student case last week. Now I remind people that because you can do home tests, and home tests don't have to be reported to DHEC, that number could be underreported. It was back when everyone had to report to a testing site, like a DHEC site, or CVS, or Walgreens. All those numbers had to be reported to DHEC, so we have a more comprehensive list. Now people can do home tests. If I do a home test and I'm positive, I don't necessarily have to report it anywhere. So I am a little cautiously optimistic, but with all that said, we only had one positive student case on last week. Next slide is brown. As I said, we have zero quarantines because our numbers are below 10%. Next slide. Staff cases, we had zero positive staff cases on last week. So once again, we are heading in the right direction. Also, zero staff quarantines because our numbers are under 10%. And so last week was a good week. Zero staff positive cases, only one positive student case. Also, let me update you on our adherence to a mask recommendation. As you remember, we eliminated our mask requirement. But as I go around and spend time in schools, even though we do not have a mask requirement, the overwhelming majority of our students still decide to mask. Okay, and I'm not sure whether that's coming from parents or other students are just that diligent. But virtually every school that I go to, if students don't have a mask when they get there, they just send their action. Okay, and so they are just being additionally cautious relative to transmission of the virus. But we are in a good place relative to COVID-19. Pastor Jackson said extra prayer for us that we stay in this place right here. We don't begin to regress. So any questions about COVID-19? Okay, let's go on. And last but not least, I want to talk a little bit about the new education funding proposal. Many of you heard that the General Assembly in the House doing the House Ways and Means Committee, adopted a proposal where teachers were gonna get a $4,000 raise. Okay, and that was all over the media, Ms. Green, that teachers were gonna get a $4,000 raise. But when you really look at what they were doing, they were raising the state minimum salary of $4,000. Not that everyone was supposed to get $4,000 raise, all right? So the state minimum is $36,000. They want to raise the state minimum from $36,000 to $40,000, which is $4,000. But I think what people perceived was, even if I make above that, I'm gonna get a $4,000 raise. What the General Assembly said is, for those districts that already pay above the minimum, you are not obligated to do anything. And we already pay above the minimum. It surprises people that Fairfield County School District is probably, the numbers change, but we generally are within the top 4 or 5 districts in the state of South Carolina relative to our salary scale. And then when you add in the bonus, we are #1 easily. Okay, so we do a pretty good job of compensating our people. As a part of this $4,000 salary proposal, the state has to adopt a new education funding proposal. And I'll tell you, that's always a red flag for me if you say, we're gonna give you an extra $4,000, but you have to adopt a new education funding proposal, and no one has seen the new education funding proposal. Okay, so it's hard to get too excited before I see the proposal. Now we've seen the proposal, I'm even less excited. So I'm gonna tell you what this proposal does. Next slide. Okay, while Ms. Brown trying to get the PowerPoint together. Okay. All right, so $4,000 pay raise for teachers. It is widely reported that the state will provide a $4,000 pay raise for all teachers, but that is not an accurate picture. The state formula establishes a 75-25% split to calculate statewide costs based on local districts' index of tax paying ability. So the first thing is, even for the districts that are below the 4,000, below the minimum salary scale, the state is funding the whole $4,000. Really is a little less than 75-25. But in essence, they're saying, we're gonna give you 75% of the 25 or 4,000. You gotta put in 25%. All right. So that's the first problem, is the state is fully funding the 4,000, even for the district below the state minimum. They say, we're gonna give you 75%, you put it in the 25%. But it's still a little bit different than that. Applying the formula result in much less than the 75% actually being covered by the state. The remainder to be funded by local school districts with no other source of funding. Although reported at a $4,000 raise, Proviso clearly states that districts paying in excess of the state minimum may use its allocation at its discretion. And so, Ms. Green, you know, as a former teacher in Fairfield County, after you heard so much about the new $4,000 raise, if you weren't going to be getting really disappointed. You'd be very disappointed. And so now people are expecting the $4,000 raise, and we're looking at the state saying, send us the money. The state is saying, well, we aren't necessarily sending you the money because you don't have to give the $4,000. You can just tell your people it's to raise the minimum. That's gonna be a hard conversation to have. A hard conversation to have. Next slide. The House Ways and Means Committee adopted a proviso to take all new funding, all new funds for education and apply them to a new funding formula. The proviso creates this new formula based on the number of teachers needed to attain a statewide student-teacher ratio of 11.2 to 1. Now, this is the first problem, okay? When you hear a statewide student-teacher ratio of 11.2 to 1, the first thing you think of is all classes gonna have 11 or 2 students in it. And that's just kind of the funding mechanism. Because even in that number, Dr. Harris, the classroom teachers, special education teachers, kindergarten, librarian, media specialists, guidance counselors, speech therapists, I mean, all kinds of people are in that number. So the number nowhere close to 11.2. So I explained to some teachers, this 11.2 doesn't really mean anything relative to your class size. Okay? It means anything if you're what they're using to fund school. All right, so it's really a relatively arbitrary number, but it has nothing to do with class size. So anyone thinking, well, the state is going to ensure that all teachers have a class size of no more than 11.2, that's not the case. Okay. Next slide. This is just, it just gives you a general idea of how the state came up with these things. So they determined that the number of positions required to reach 11.2 to 1 ratio based on fall 2021 enrollment is 67,223. So that means there are 67,223 teachers across the state of South Carolina. So this is the state. Now let's look at it. Amount needed to fund a $4,000 plus fringe increase in the state minimum salary schedule for 67,223 positions is $354,937,440. Okay, that's the whole state. The amount the state should fund per provider, so that's 75%, with the remaining 25% to be borne by local district, $266,203,080. New money actually allocated to public schools is $196,032,747. So let's start with those two numbers. So let's start with those two numbers. Now you see the amount the state should fund is $266 million. New money allocated $196 million. So we already $70 million in all. Okay. And then the district share of cost of the 25% shortfall, $158 million. That's for all schools across the state of South Carolina. Now I'm gonna bring it home to where we are. Okay. So in Fairfield, we have 309 teacher vacancies. All right. With this new funding formula, we get an extra whopping $127,958. Yeah. Whopping $127,958. And so I guess you in Michigan would say, well, you gotta be excited, you get an extra $127,000. Only problem with that is, if we do give the $4,000 increase, plus a local percentage with a step per teacher, that's going to be $1,418,928. Okay. Once we add in retirement, another $446,000, cost of the step, $219,000, fringe on top of the step, $69,000. Cost of revenue because they collapse some funds. You know, it's always this devil's in the details. I'm gonna give you a little bit more money here, but I'm gonna collapse some accounts there. So we collapse some 338, what we call at-risk money. So the total cost for us to give the $4,000 increase is going to be $2,489,063. So that means that if we move forward with the General Assembly moves forward with this funding plan, and we move forward giving all our teachers an extra $4,000, it's going to cost us another $2,361,190. So that's going to be a tough conversation to have. It's going to be a tough conversation to have. And I want to reiterate what the General Assembly says to districts like ours are. Don't complain to us about this $2,361,105. Because we are telling you, you have to give the $4,000 increase. Okay. That's what the General Assembly says consistently. We didn't tell you to give them $4,000. You already above the minimum, so you good. You need to do it. You need to do anything else. The problem is, that's not what teachers have heard, and that's not what teachers are expecting. And so what we've done is the General Assembly has put something out there that makes them look real good. And now the pressure is going be on school boards when you say, well, no, the General Assembly didn't give us the money now, okay, they just made the minimum, we were already above the minimum, so we are getting any money to do this. Okay? So, this is being debated, I think, right now in the House, it'll leave the House. You know, I've already contacted our representatives to see whether they can kind of make some changes to it. Also, a big change, and I know Kevin has been watching this, they are increasing, I think, our share of health insurance premiums from, I don't know what it was, Kevin, but it's going up to 18%, am I correct, next year? So our contribution to the health insurance premiums is going up to 18%. What was it before, Kevin?
I'm not sure what it was before, but the increase is on the dollar amount.
Yeah.
Across the board.
So in other words, the amount that we're gonna pay for fringe is going up. So our expenses are going up as a district. You know, folks, and I want my teachers in virtual world to hear what we're saying, all right? As much as we want to give you the $4,000 that you have been hearing about, right now the General Assembly is not giving us the money to give it to you. And if we move forward, we'll experience a deficit of almost $2.5 million. All right, any questions out there, that good news?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Green,
Yes, ma'am.
with all that being said, and teachers, I'm 100% giving them a raise. But they're, misleading to people to make them think that, we're gonna give you this money and really they're not. It falls on the school district, and the sad thing is the smaller districts are the ones really gonna be hit hard. And if a neighboring district actually can afford to give that $4,000, well, they're gonna be willing to travel 30 to 45 minutes away, so they're gonna lose teachers. For some of the ones that really can't afford it. And I hope that our representatives can, and some of the other ones, I mean, they are voted on by the same people we, vote for us. So everybody need to call them and say, hey, if y'all want us to have this money, really, y'all give it to the district so they can give it to us. I mean, that's just my perspective on that. I mean, they put it out there, but it's misleading and it makes people think that the money is coming from us and it's actually not, because we don't have money. So hopefully everybody will call their representative and say, hey, y'all need to change that, or y'all need to add some more money, or y'all need to send the money to the district.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Harrison. I spoke to our House member, and so she asked me, what my ideas were to really improve the situation. And obviously, the obvious thing is, if you want to give everyone a $4,000 raise, give districts the money.
Yeah.
Okay. Give districts the money. As much as I am in favor of raising a minimum to $40,000, I think that is a very good decision. I think you should also reward those teachers that are in districts that are already above the state level. So everyone gets a $4,000. So, hopefully that's going to be a sentiment in the General Assembly, is to try and encourage whoever is putting the numbers together to say we want to structure this where districts have the money to give everyone a salary increase.
Dr. Jackson.
Yeah, I have a question. I don't know if it's redundant or not. I have to have it on, right?
Yeah.
It's on now. Okay, we've heard our governor talk about all this money that we're supposed to be having. They trying to find out how to spend it. And they created all kinds of funds so that they can siphon some of that money off to other places and all of that. Is there any way that this $2 million can be covered with some of that? Like I said, it might be a redundant question.
Yeah. So Pastor Jackson, what I'll say is our state probably has as much surplus recurring dollars that we've seen in a long time. A long time. You probably read where they're talking about this income tax rebate, where everyone's supposed to get so much money back. reducing state income tax or so much money. So I mean, our state has seen, this year, more surplus revenue, recurring revenue than we've seen in a long time. And so one of the General Assembly members said, if you can't really get it this year, I don't know when you get it. Yeah. Because the state's fiscal situation is probably as good as it's been in quite a while. Right. To answer your question, yes, they could. So the General Assembly could fund a $4,000 increase for every teacher. So now the priority. Right. And so they have to just make a commitment to doing something. Right. And so yes, they can. I think the money is definitely there, but it has to be a problem.
All right, I got one more thing. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know when we went to Yoda and you were down there talking with them at the General Assembly. And I was wondering if somebody like you, if not you yourself, could go in there and present this stuff to them and see maybe they could come to the realization that God mandated government for all the people and not for some choice projects that they have for some of the people. You know, and they need to give us this money.
Yes, Pastor Jackson, as you alluded to, I've been down there on a couple of occasions. I don't know if they won't be coming back. But I can tell you that several superintendents have been strongly advocating with their House and Senate members that we revise this proposal and really fund it in its entirety. I think that will continue. I think we do have a shot because there are some districts that are looking at some pretty significant deficits in order to make this happen. So I think to a large extent you have one or two choices. For districts who are above the minimum like us, you can say, state didn't tell me we have to give you $4,000. So we're gonna take that extra $127,000 and we don't worry about $4,000.
Yeah.
Or you say, we're gonna figure out a way to give the $4,000 and then we're gonna be fighting with the deficit. I mean, I think General Assembly, those are really the two choices, assuming that they don't change anything. Okay, and because I am always prayerful that they may change some things in the House or Senate and give us more money. But assuming that nothing else changes, that'll be the option for us as a district. And that's a very tough position to be in. But if nothing changes, that's the position we'll be in.
And I guess the only other thing that I don't mean to prolong time, but I guess the only other thing that we could ask them to do would be speak in real language so folks can understand and not put something out there and make it sound like it's not what it is.
Yeah, you know, Pastor Jackson, as I said, when teachers were excited about hearing the $4,000 increase, and I read where it says it's contingent on adopting the new funding formula, and I said, who's seen the new funding formula? Nobody has seen it. Yeah. I said, okay, let's not get excited yet. Right. Okay, until we see the new funding formula, and after that, I think we have a little more work to do. Right. So. Everybody's pulling for teachers to get $4,000. I mean, no one is pulling against that. That would be wonderful. But I we have to ask the General Assembly to do a little bit better job of funding.
I want to put a plug in for you right now and thank you for going to the General Assembly and letting them know how you feel.
Well, thank you, Pastor. If I come on this, you'll know what happened.
Anybody else got any questions on that? Doc, I have to say that no, we just talk about teachers now, but we got bus drivers, we got teachers assistants, cafeteria workers. I mean, it's probably another 300 who's not classified workers. And that goes into the equation too, so it's going to probably grow. Speak on that.
Yeah. And this is something that, me and Mr. Robinson have been talking about for a couple of years now. The General Assembly primarily and I don't want to use the word prioritize, but for lack of a better word, prioritize is teachers and bus drivers. And so most of the conversations that you hear at the General Assembly relative to increases in compensation are about teachers and bus drivers. In this proposal, I think bus drivers are scheduled to get a 5% increase. But they don't talk about basically any other group of classified employees. So as a teacher assistant, custodian, cafeteria workers, maintenance worker, they don't really discuss that. And so districts will be in the precarious spot of, we continue to fund increases in teachers and bus drivers, but we leave everybody else behind. So districts will have to figure out, well, even if the General Assembly isn't giving us any more money to do anything with other classified employees, out of fairness, we will have to figure out how we do something with other classified employees. Okay. I had that question to come up with my last fireside chat, and it's been down. I mean, people hearing about teachers and bus drivers, but we got a lot of other employees other than teachers and bus drivers. And you know, and so the staff doesn't want to hear what the General Assembly is giving us any money. They don't care about that kind of thing. Okay, they want to, so that's fine to what y'all want. All right. So we gonna have to figure out, even if we're not getting anything from General Assembly, what we do to try and address salaries for classified employees. I'll tell you, that's a conversation me and Ms. Robinson had it. Regardless of what the General Assembly does with teachers and bus drivers, we got to figure out how we address everyone else, even if they aren't talking about it. Okay. So if there's extra points to that.
All right. This time, go to curriculum and instructions.
Good evening. Tonight for your approval is an overnight and out-of-state field trip request for Fairfield Magnet School for Math and Science. And the students, the Beta Club students from Fairfield Magnet School for Math and Science have requested a trip to Atlanta, Georgia, which will be taking place April 6th through the 8th. And they'll have approximately 32 students and 5 chaperones. And while the cost of the trip is listed for your information, of course, tonight you are recommending the actual trip, which is an overnight and out-of-state trip to Atlanta, Georgia. The students will have an opportunity to visit the Georgia Aquarium, along with the Martin Luther King Jr. Center, and other various monuments within or in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. And then they'll also participate in various STEM-related experiences during the visit to the Truist Stadium.
We get a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve the overnight and out-of-state field trip request for the Fairfield Magnet School for Math and Science.
Second such motion. Motion made by Ms. Harrison, second by Dr. Harris for field trip, out-of-state field trip. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. We have a question, I'm sorry.
I have a question, Sir Chair, but I would like to make a statement that I think that exposure for all of our children is so important. And I think that they would really enjoy this trip to Atlanta if you've never been to see the monuments.
I think it's the same thing. Anybody, any other question? All in favor of the motion, second by Dr. Harris, made by Ms. Harrison, show by the raising of the right hand. Mr. Kenny.
Aye.
Operation and finance, right.
Mr. Chair,
Right.
yeah, while Mr. Robinson is coming up, Ms. Green, I want to just follow up on something you said. Because one of the vital functions that we have as a school district is to provide exposure. And sometimes I think we cited that. as important as it is to teach read, write, arithmetic, it's important to show young people a world that many of them have never envisioned, because it inspires them to seek more. And so when I hear people say, is it worth it? It is absolutely worth it. And absolutely should be a priority for a school district if you have the ability to provide exposure for young people. And so I appreciate you mentioning that, because it is so vitally important that we show young people as much of the world as we can.
Good evening. The operations and finance, the first item we have this evening is the monthly financial report for the board. The revenues are looking good for where we should be this time of year compared to the last couple of years. So I'm confident we'll be on budget in terms of our revenues and won't have a shortfall. Expenditures are as well about what we expected for this time of year. So this is presented for your information. Any questions?
Mr. Chair,
Right here.
Mr. Robinson, I had all confidence in you. I knew you was gonna make sure everything was straight. So I appreciate the hard work that you do and your staff to keep us on task.
So, Ms. Robinson, you said you're on task for, this year, so we're going, that's about $1 million going into the account.
Well, now, for our budget, we budgeted due to the shortfall in the past couple of years. We budgeted to take money out of the fund balance.
That's correct.
So I'm saying we're still on budget to meet that goal of taking the amount we stipulated to take out of the fund balance. My point is that our revenues are not lower than they have been in the past few years when we lost revenue. They were lower than what we expected, but actually what we thought we would be without revenue.
So it's kind of balancing out, and it's kind of, you say the waves are not going up and down, it's kind of calm.
I'll say for this year, just subject to, we have one large taxpayer, and that's always subject to change in any year. So that's kind of unpredictable, but for this year, things are what we expected.
Hearing timeline.
And for the board's information, I've included just a timeline of our budget hearings. Typically, we do 3 hearings before the board. We normally have one for every board meeting in April, May, and June. So the first hearing will be April 19th, the second one, May 17th. On May 31st, we would have a public hearing where we just do a presentation, and anyone in the public wanted to come, we have that on May 31st, and then June 14th is the scheduled board meeting for June, and that would be the third reading of the budget.
Any questions for Ms. Robinson? Thanks, sir. Human resources. So,
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Under Human Resources, item 1, the superintendent recommends board action for certified resignations and terminations. This is presented to you in Exhibit 1 and requires a special motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that a formal complaint be sent on behalf of the board to the State Board of Education requesting that appropriate action be taken against a professional employee of Fairfield County School District, employee 1 who pursuant to South Carolina Code and notated section 59-25-230 breached their individual employment contract with the district by failing to return to work.
Yes, sir. That's it. Motion made by Ms. Harrison, second by Pastor Jackson. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Seven. Go right ahead.
Item two, the superintendent recommends the board approve certified professional educators for the 2022-23 academic year. This is presented in exhibit 2.
Get a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we accept the superintendent recommendation to approve certified professional educators for the 22-23 academic year, exhibit 2.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison, second by Ms. Green. Ms. Green. Exhibit 2, all in favor, let's show by the raising of the right hand. Mr. Davis.
Aye.
And final item 3, the superintendent recommends the board approve certified professional administrators for the 2022-23 academic year. This is in exhibit 3.
Motion.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we accept the superintendent recommendation to approve certified professional administrators for the 22-23 academic year, exhibit 3.
Second. Motion made by Ms. Harrison, second by Pastor Jackson. Exhibit 3, all in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I just, board chair report, as it has been stated, that we have a groundbreaking on Thursday at 1 o'clock. For the teacher village, I hope all board members can make it. You can't, but you understand. You can, well, see you there. Other things that I wanted to, back on our board retreat, we talked about that. And I was thinking that, you know, what all do we want to have at our board retreat? I know that one of the things that I wanted to bring is that we have a board retreat that we can have our budget, you know, take about an hour, go through our budget while we're doing it, our board retreat. And so I know, I just want to hear from the board what they, you know, things that they want to go on in our board retreat. And of course, I reached out to Ms. Hampton and others, and you can get some through the week, but the weekends are kind of all of them are kind of, you know, can't get away, but we still can do something. You know, of course we got Dr. Green, and he's a great speaker and what have you. But on a good Saturday or through the week, doesn't make any difference. But I just want to hear from the board what they're looking for at this board retreat.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
One of the things that I would like to do is to review policies, global policies, and you know, our board members understand policies and procedures, and maybe add or update some of them if we need to.
All right. Budget. You know, lack of understanding, you know, where we are, and, you know, do's and don'ts, you know. Want to put that in there?
Yes.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
we can get some trade on Robert's rules.
My understanding, yes, sir. Right. Let's think about some dates also. If y'all want to decide we want to do it on Saturday, that's fine, or we want to do it through the week. I know a lot of us, they work on a weekday, and, you get off 5 or 6 o'clock, and you want to spend 4 hours here, whether you get off at 6, go to 9 or 10, you know what I'm saying? That trigger, that kind of trigger a little bit, I may say something, just a little on the edge. I think, yeah.
Mr. Chair, I would think if we if we were forced to do a weekday, maybe a Friday, and start like at 10 o'clock and work until maybe 2 or 3, based on the agenda, or a Saturday morning, start at 10 and work until 2 or 3. It doesn't necessarily have to be an all-day thing.
Right.
But I'm saying if there's an option, if we have to do a weekday, then maybe a Friday versus Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or and then we do a Saturday, and then it falls on a Saturday. Then, as I said,
what we do, we'll kind of be talking to each other and figure out, maybe the weekend maybe Saturday might be good, from 10 to 2, something like that. I know that some of our staff would have to be here, perhaps. Dr. Green.
But then you also mentioned, the fact that you spoke with somebody, and I guess they were from the State School Board Association, who made this program.
That's right.
And they were saying that weekends will be a challenge for them. So that's the reason why I said, well, maybe if we did it on a Friday.
Right. Well, I was speaking to legal, Robert Rules, had already spoke to Stephanie, and she's the legal person for the State School Board Association. And so let's look at her saying if we can get her, and then we can possibly nail it down. Yes, sir.
Is that gonna be a fee for them?
Fee for
facilitating the meeting, training us or whatever the case may be?
Well, I don't know. Some of it now legal. I think that it may be a charge of not sure. I don't know. I'll bring that back to you.
We have to look at, I guess, work schedules and so forth. I'm the guy. I just speak to nobody else. Some people got to work.
Yeah, you're right. Well, one thing about this is the South Carolina School Board Association is here for us. We had them to look over. Matter of fact, we saw a lot of policies through when Mrs. Reed was chair, or Mr. Fred, and they went over a lot of policies for us. But that's part of their job. I don't know coming up here, but that's part of their job.
Yeah.
Because it's part of our fee.
Yeah.
That we pay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I just want to make sure before I say yes or no. I'm so glad to, I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm so glad to see Deacon Harris. Thank you for coming. And Pastor Elston, my friend, both of them are my friends. So we thank y'all for coming and supporting the school district. Can we get a motion?
I wanted to say something. Dr. Green, I wanted to give a shout out to the Fairfield Post. I had a new client to come in and sat down and picked up the paper. They said, where did this paper come from? I said, that's our school district. They said, oh my goodness, they enjoy reading all the articles in the paper, and I had it there for my clients to pick up, take home, and they can take them around and give them to people. And so a big shout out to the Fairfield Post on doing a good job. And also Miss Liza Bowe is having a Faith Fighter cancer event April the 2nd, it's a kickball. She got Dr. Green on the team. I don't know how much he's gonna be kicking, but he's on the team. And she's raising money for cancer to help cancer patients too. So if you can come out, it's in Ridgeway at the Rufus Belton Park, April 2nd, start at 12 o'clock noon. So if anybody can come out, you know, to support the event. I think your wife is setting up as a vendor, and there, yeah, his wife, they got vendors out there too. And so, and I don't know, Dr. Green, I guess you would know that they vetoed the Lancaster County partisan bill today. He vetoed it, so that's a good thing for us. And it look like the voucher bill is gonna go to the full Senate next week, so. Mike Fanning, I have to give him a shout out. He's been fighting for us. Sometimes he sounds wrong, but he's definitely been fighting for us, and I truly appreciate him. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Ms. Harris, I'm glad you mentioned the post before we go. It was a letter sent by someone from from Charlotte. And so that was when the doctor kind of elaborate, say a little something about it, because I think that it talks about our
yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to really share this information with Dr. Robert Scotland, who is the pastor of Shiloh First Presbyterian Church. He sent a letter to the school district and to his children, journalism teacher, really expressing how impressed that they have been with the professionalism of the school newspaper, how informative that it has been, and also included a check for $300 that helped support the you know, more than the $300, it's just a recognition of the outstanding work that our young people are doing. You know, sometimes we spend all our time talking about kids who doing wrong, that we forget about the kids who doing right. You can't lose sight that there are lots of kids that are doing right, and we got to take an opportunity to recognize them and praise them for the outstanding job they're doing. So I appreciated that from Dr. Scotland. They really take time to write that letter, and as much as we appreciate the $300 he sent, I'm more impressed with the time that he took just to write and recognize the young people. I think they're gonna print a copy of this letter that's kind of an open letter in a publication, in addition coming up soon. I mean, I want other people to really read that and really hear that, just to remind us. You know, I have this conversation with people all the time. It's when I read something happened, and these kids are just doing so bad, and kids are this, and kids are that. I said, back up for a second. I don't want you to assume that all kids are doing the wrong thing. Okay. But I know that all kids doing the right thing and the wrong thing. We're concerned about the ones doing the wrong thing. We want to turn them around. But you can't create a narrative, right? That everyone is doing the wrong thing, particularly young people, because then there is no incentive to do right. You know, if you just create this narrative that everyone's doing the wrong thing. I'm gonna share one story I shared with Mr. Miller. But when I was a principal, I used to always get on the PA and make announcements. And in my announcements, everything was receivable. I appreciate you conducting yourself like young ladies and young gentlemen. We respect nothing less. I say the same thing every day. And a teacher came to me one day and she said, you know what, you always say that you appreciate them conducting themselves like young ladies and young gentlemen. There's some people not conducting themselves like young ladies. I said, I know that, but I want them to recognize you in the minority. I want them to understand that everybody else is, that if I'm not conducting myself like a young lady or a young gentleman, I need to be looking at myself somewhere else. Okay. So you want to praise the kids who are doing well, and don't spend all your time talking about the ones who aren't doing well, because that's going to inspire the ones who are doing well to keep doing better. So I appreciate it, Dr. Scotland, for really taking the time to do that, and I hope more in this community take an opportunity to do And I just ask, just people in the community, to recognize the black kids and show how impressed you are with what they're doing. Not necessarily just folks on TV. So,
Any more, can we get a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second such motion.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison, second by Dr. Harris. All in favor to adjourn, so by raising the right hand. Mr. Davis.
Aye.
All right.
Instead of including us too. Yes, sir. What's up, man?
Oh,
You look good, right? Always.